This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Anthony O'Neill, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author of the book Debt-Free Degree, is my co-host today. We'll be taking your questions about your life and your money. The call is free, and some say the advice is worth what you pay for it. The phone number, 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Stefan is with us in Hudson, Wisconsin. Hi, Stefan. How are you?
Hey, Dave Ramsey. Hey, how are you guys?
Great, man. What's up?
Not much. I've been just started listening to you guys, both of you actually, back in early March. Me and my fiance are both working our baby steps. We're in baby step 2. So our question is, we get married next May, and we're trying to figure out how to save that money for that, or if we should start finding our expenses and using that as part of the Snowball, because we want to run, we want to basically cash flow our wedding.
That's smart.
Very smart.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Next May, so a year from now.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay, cool.
How much debt do you all have in baby step 2? Or how much debt do you have and how much debt does she have?
Yeah, I'm about 45,000 and she's just under 40. We've already paid off 10 total between the two of us so far.
Good.
Since March.
Good. Okay. You're making some progress then, and on that schedule, you'll be debt-free almost by the time you get there, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're really trying to do. We just know that we have that coming up, and we want to make sure we're not adding more debt.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's your income and her income?
I'm about 60, and she's about 50.
Okay.
So what are you two thinking you should spend?
Well, we've already got most of the areas started. We're getting married in Montana.
Oh.
We were able to save some money by getting married at a friend's house, and we've already got a few of the more expensive items already paid for. Now it's just the finalizing food, the catering side of things. So I'm figuring between 5 and 10 remaining to pay.
Remaining? How much have you spent already?
About 3,000.
And so what is she thinking?
We're pretty much on the same page of that. It's our more of our concern is food, because catering can get ridiculously expensive really, really quick.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've done some big Ramsey weddings, and we like a big party, and I can tell you from experience, the reception is the big ticket item. Mm-hmm. It's the most expensive part of the whole puppy, like all of it's there, and so just about. I mean, percentage wise, so.
Correct.
So you're I think the thing is you set your budget and then the food conforms to your budget. You don't set your food and then make up your budget.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That sounds good.
Like you do with anything else. You don't say I'm gonna go car shopping and then figure out what I'm gonna spend.
Yeah.
You go, I'm gonna figure out what I spend, and then based on that, I'm gonna know which car lot to be on.
Yeah, and then also too, I mean, I don't want to kill the wedding dreams, and Dave may disagree with this one, but I think you and your wife need to sit down and figure out what's your priorities. Is it going into this marriage debt free? Is that the priority, or is it like, hey, let's eliminate some of the debt and have a real good wedding, and then attack the debt when we get out of it? I think you two sit down and have that conversation. But in my personal opinion, I love the concept of paying off as much debt and having a good wedding. My sister got married with no debt, and they had about a $5,000 wedding, and it was beautiful at a mansion outside, but the majority of the money was for the food, but it was a reception and wedding all in one. So have the conversation, but I would definitely figure out what are the priorities and stick to the priorities going into the wedding.
Yeah, I think 10, based on that, I don't disagree with him. I would just say 10 is your limit.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
I like that.
10 doesn't feel completely out of control making 110.
Right.
You're going to get to, between the two of you, you're going to get to the debt pretty quickly. If you said 20, I probably would be dialing you back down.
Yeah.
If I were and the way we're talking this through, Stephan, is what we would do if we woke up in your shoes. There's not a one's smart and one's dumb, but so the main thing I'm wanting is to make sure that the two of you really are in agreement on this, because I can tell you this: as soon as you start shopping the items, and you've already discovered this with some of the things, and that's why you've made some of the choices you've already made, the sky's the limit on what you can spend.
Correct.
And so if you don't have boundaries before you start shopping, you're going to really end up going, yeah, well, we could do a little more.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And here's what I love.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah. And here's what I love, Dave. When you set boundaries, you'll find what you want inside of those boundaries.
Yeah. But you won't if you don't.
Exactly.
Yeah, you'll get scope creep.
Yeah.
On this thing, the scope of it will creep up, and all of a sudden you're going, that $20,000 car drives better than that $10,000 car. I'm just saying. And if you don't, this is how people impulse. And he's not. He's got. Because what he's doing is, you can tell by the way he's asking the questions. It's very thoughtful.
Right.
Very intentional. There wasn't a flightiness about it. There wasn't an immaturity about it.
Love it.
So I think he's going to be real good. But yeah. So I'm in agreement with, and Anthony's grudgingly in agreement with your dollar amount.
Yeah. 10,000.
He's trying to cut you back to 5, but
I am.
But somewhere in that range is going to be about right, and don't let it creep up to 12.
And here's why I said 5 though, Dave, because it's going to creep up to 10,
creep,
and your 10 is going to creep up to 13.
No, it's not if it's me, because it's this. There's a lot of stuff I do, but when I set the budget, that's the deal.
Trust me,
that's the deal.
I know, man.
Yeah, it's a problem. So, because, and I think that's a great question, because it does help us jump off into even a bigger subject. Anything having to do with the subject of money, 90% of the people lose with their finances because they don't tell it what to do. It happens to them instead of them being intentional and happening to it.
Right.
So when you get a guy like Stephan asking the question, and he's already put thought into the process, he is happening proactively to the situation. He's not a victim of my wife, my fiance and her mother are driving us off a cliff with what they're spending. And we're in a reality show. He's not a victim. Everybody's being a grown up and is on the same page. And this is when boundaries actually, our budgets with amounts actually work, and they cause you to become wealthy over time.
Absolutely. And Dave, we just did a study and released it here yesterday. We found out nearly 6 out of 10 people in America do not even budget right now. And so they're
I can't
frustrated.
even believe, and another 10% of them lie. So it's probably 7 or 8 out of 10.
Probably so.
Probably so. That's, it's just, people, because listen, here's the thing. If you don't do things on purpose to win, you almost never win.
Yes, sir.
Winning is not an accidental act.
Yes.
It's an act of intentionality.
Yes, sir.
And that's true of every part of our lives. And it's the biggest thing, if we can get you to do this with money, is just be going, I'm going to make it behave. It's not going to tell me what to do. And I'm not going to wander into chaos and then wonder how I got there.
So good.
This is The Ramsey Show. Stop paying your overpriced wireless provider and switch to Pure Talk. They use the same network as the larger providers for much less. For just $30 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data with no contract. The average family saves over $70 a month by switching to Pure Talk. Just go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, simply smarter wireless. Anthony O'Neill, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, and host of The Table on YouTube and as a podcast. Be sure and you check out The Table. There are lots of interesting people coming to the table to have a conversation with Anthony, and be sure you tune into that. Check it out. Our phone number here is 888-825-5225. If you're tired of feeling stuck with your money, like you'll never get out of debt or you'll never be able to save, it doesn't have to be that way. You can make progress with money, and faster than you think. But the only way to make it happen is with a budget. And that's why you need a Ramsey Plus membership. You'll get access to the premium version of our every dollar budgeting app, where you plan out every dollar you'll ever spend before the month begins. This is that intentionality that Anthony and I were talking about before the break. You connect your budget to your bank so you never miss a transaction. You get custom budget reports. And in Ramsey Plus, of course, you can go through Financial Peace University. Several of our other classes are there. Several quick one-off lessons are there. And when you budget and you get intentional with your money, you will make progress fast. And you can start budgeting for free today. To start your free trial at Ramsey Plus, text TRIAL to 33789. Text TRIAL to 33789. Alex is in Los Angeles. Hi, Alex. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. It's an honor to talk to you. I appreciate you taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So I'm just looking for some general advice here on starting an e-commerce business, specifically white labeling products on Amazon. And I'll just give you a little background of my situation. So I currently run an auto detailing business, but I broke my foot. And I luckily just finished baby step 3. And this month, I'm able to get by without dipping into my emergency fund and still having a little bit of money to invest in Amazon. And I'm allocating exactly $1,000 to get this business going. And I do have good guidance around me. I have some mentors, therapists, Facebook group. I definitely have good guidance around me. But really, I'm just wondering if there's any general advice you can lend me to, so I can have my best chance at succeeding.
So what is it? Where did you discover the idea of doing this?
About a year ago, I actually stumbled across a YouTube video that it was marketing a software, and the guy that makes the software was, just talking about the Amazon experience and what it really entails, and it really interested me. So it wasn't just because I broke my foot I wanted to get it started. I've been wanting to do this for a while.
With that guy's software?
Yes.
So he sold you a business idea?
Well, it's this. So the software is something that you do the product research and you do accounting, and it helps you run the business. But really, what sold me was him talking about what just what white labeling entails, and basically it was kind of the culture of this, his company and the software, and the Facebook group that I'm involved in also is a group of these people that are, they also use that software too, but there's just, different Amazon sellers on there. And but yeah, I can't really pinpoint exactly, anything that sold me on it. It just sounded like it was just an opportunity I got excited about once he started explaining it in the, in the YouTube video.
Okay. Well, is white labeling on Amazon real? Is drop shipping on eBay real? Yes, they're real. There are real ways to do that. But more people make money doing what he's doing than what you're talking about doing.
Right.
Right, yeah.
And so I worry about how you got into this and what it's really led you to. It's not to say the whole concept is invalid, but I would not want to end up paying him more than you are making, and you're really going to be close to that if you're not careful. So, here's what's happening is you found a concept, and now you're backing into it, and really the only passion you have for this is making money.
Yeah. You've already paid him more, Alex?
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you say, Anthony?
You already paid him more?
So basically what I paid for was the subscription for the software, and he sells a curriculum that I had bought a year ago, and you have lifetime access to the curriculum that teaches you the ins and outs, like A to Z, what it takes to do it. And so I already paid a year ago for the curriculum, and then it's a yearly subscription for the software.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I am not an expert on white labeling on Amazon. I mean, we sell a ton of product on all kinds of web-based things, and Amazon's one of them. So our marketing team does a lot of that. We don't do any white label on Amazon today. We produce our own products, so we don't need to. But but their products we're passionate about and so forth. And so what I would the only thing I can counsel you to do is this smells like a get-rich-quick business in a box thing that somebody has promised you a bunch of stuff, and it just scares me the way it feels.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% set to where I'm ready to just slam my fist on the table and go, "You've been had," but I'm worried about you. And so if I'm in your shoes based on that, if I get that feeling and I'm in a situation, what do? I get some more information about this. And I'm not, Anthony and I don't know enough about the actual subject to advise you, but what I can advise you is the life and business acumen part of this is you need some input from someone outside of people dealing with this guy.
Yeah, you need to find someone outside of this guy.
I was hopeful when you said the Facebook group that it wasn't his Facebook group, but it's his Facebook group.
It's his stuff, yeah.
So you're not got anybody outside of this guy and his influence that's telling you that this can be done and telling you where the holes are and the upside is and the downside is, the pros and cons of what you're looking at doing. So you need to get with some e-commerce people that know more than I know.
Yeah.
But also are not in his camp. And that's before you give him another dime.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, we need to go make some money now. So, yeah. So, I tell you what, Alex, let me tell you what this lines up with. The reason when I was your age, I went to a weekend or to a one-night seminar on how to get rich in real estate. And this guy, it was $25. It wasn't free. And their main pitch at that seminar was not how to do real estate. Their main pitch was that everybody's doing it, it can be done. And for $3,000 this weekend at our boot camp, we will show you how to do it. And then when you went to the boot camp, I didn't go, but I know the guy that was running it. Years later, I got to know him. And basically what he sold was, when you went to the boot camp, the next thing they sold you was, well, subscribe to our thing. And when you find a property, we will buy it. And we'll go in partners with you, but you have to cut us in. And so it just kept going in layers, instead of ever really just saying, hey, I'm going to learn how to buy foreclosure real estate and I'm going to go do it.
Right.
Which is actually what I ended up doing.
Right.
Aside from this, and the guy got me started, to his credit. Like, this guy could get you started, Alex, in e-commerce or white label with Amazon that are very real things. Buying foreclosure real estate is a very real thing. Running it through that system where I paid $25 to get to pay $3,000 to get to bring him in on all my deals.
Yeah.
That I find for him.
Yeah.
And he puts up the money, which never really happened.
It never did?
I never found anybody who ever did a deal.
Wow.
I know lots of people went to the boot camp and lots of people signed up, but I never found anybody who actually hit the guy to put money into it.
Wow.
And, and then later on in nothing down real estate, he went broke. like I did. I went broke too. So
right.
Both of us went broke. But, so the thing is, you need to get something other than this guy's system, because this feels kind of like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense or not. I'm not saying the guy's bad, but it just feels like that. Hey folks, I got a great option to help you pay for your education. The Army National Guard. The Army National Guard believes you are the next greatest generation because you have proven that even in adversity, that you have what it takes to succeed. That's why they offer benefits like tuition assistance, career training, and a paycheck to help you avoid debt. No matter what your goals are, the Army National Guard can help you get there. Visit nationalguard.com to find out more. Anthony O'Neill, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today here on The Ramsey Show. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Andrew is in Fort Collins, Colorado. Hi, Andrew. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for taking my call, guys. Really appreciate it.
Sure. What's up?
So my new family and I are looking to close on our very first home at the end of May in Nebraska. We're relocating to a more affordable area and to be closer to in-laws. However, we got a call from our realtor yesterday saying that the home now has 3 feet of floodwater in the basement. So what we're trying to do is just get some perspective. Like, we're trying to figure out, is this a blessing to say, hey, you know what, this wasn't meant to be, like, we should back out of it. We may have to negotiate with some costs that we talked about with the seller prior to moving in, if we exit, but there may be some homes in the area. It's not as hot of a market as some of the other areas that we were looking at. Or B, is this something that, it's a chance to renegotiate the cost with the seller? Or is this just going to be this a mountain of work ahead of us with 3 feet of flood water? I don't know. It kind of just threw us for a loop because we had a crazy 2020 and we were like, you know what, we're going to be settled. We know we're going to be. It's our first home. Got this 9-month-old and we're out of the state, but now we get this thrown at us. We're like, okay, we just really want to think with objective opinions and just what's the best decision to go forth on this.
Yeah. So is the property in a floodplain?
It's in a low risk area and it's never really had anything happened to it before. It really surprised everyone, and our realtor is getting more information. And
there is a federal floodplain.
Right.
Is it in a floodplain?
It's technically not. It's a 3 out of 10 score on the FEMA risk. That's the best information that I could find. And our realtor said no, it's not. And she seems to think that they've been doing some paving and like redoing of the roads in that neighborhood, and it may have changed the flow of water, and it could have just been this freak thing that happened to this home and like 1 or 2 others. But we just don't know whether it's a freak thing or not. Now it's on the history of this has been flooded, and we wonder if it's even worth staying in, or maybe it's just a freak thing and it's an opportunity. We just don't know.
You are brand new married, you have a 9-month-old, and it's your very first home purchase. You don't need this.
Absolutely not.
Right.
I'm getting out of it, man.
Right.
Now you said...
I think it's just that... Oh.
It's just a house deal.
Yeah, it is.
It's just a house deal, and the house flooded.
Yeah.
And they lost their buyer.
That's it. Now, you said you may lose some money. What money will you lose?
Well, it's not much. So what they didn't have a radon system installed, and we talked with the seller and said, hey, if we end up going with this home, we'd love to have a radon system installed. They said, sure. We decided to pay that up. They were going to give us a credit at closing, which is about $2,200. And the radon system is only $1,600. And we said, yeah, we'd pay for that, now, and then we get that money back at closing. We're just, wondering, will we have to eat that cost? And
yeah, you'll have to eat that cost. You lost that money.
Yeah.
And the lesson you learn is you don't put systems in other people's houses.
Right.
You shouldn't have done it that way. They should have done it, period, if they wanted to do the deal.
Got it.
But
okay, good to know.
If you wanted it that bad, but that's your lesson
right.
learned here. But You know, they've got a flooded house with a new radon system in it. Bless their hearts. You know.
Yeah.
That's
it's just a crazy market. We're
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Your life is already crazy. You're moving. You have a 9-month-old and a new marriage. The last thing you need is a flooded basement, man.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, that was kind of my instinct. I just kind of needed to hear that objective.
Yeah. 5 years from
I-
today, you'll be glad you did not insert this hassle and mess and cleanup and potential future problems into your life while you have all these other things on your plate that are much more important.
Right.
Even if you rent for a year, whoop-de-doop-de.
Right.
Yeah.
We just, because they were saying, you know, maybe we'll lower the cost like significantly, and I was like,
It's not about the cost. It's about you're
Right.
about to give up a huge chunk of your life in an already chaotic life.
It's about peace, man.
Yeah.
You know, you want peace, right? You need peace.
Yeah.
Right now.
If you call me up and said, I want to build a house,
Yeah.
I would tell you, don't build a house for your first home. Don't build a house in your first year of marriage, and don't build a house with a 9-month-old. This is a good way to get a divorce. Oof. You know? But why? It's peace. It doesn't mean building a house is a bad idea. It means in your situation, you are asking for crap. You're asking for trouble, man. And just don't do that. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, Andrew, I would just call you real to say, hey, let's get out of the deal ASAP.
Yeah. Just end it, man. I'm sorry. And start fresh and go look for something that's not in a floodplain.
Yeah.
Or not a 3 out of 10 on the FEMA risk even. All right. Alissa is with us in Oklahoma City. Hi, Alissa. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, guys. I have a quick question. My husband and I just finished baby step 2 March 20th, and we are on baby step 3, but we are having a military move coming up in July, so we're kind of putting that on pause for now. But my question, my husband recently came to me with an idea of his is to sell his truck that we just paid off and downgrade, quote unquote, to about a $10,000 less vehicle. And I want to make the right decision. And
Why?
I'm just kind of, that's where I'm wondering. He says gas mileage, and it's not a truck because we have a truck. And so he wanted to downgrade to an SUV.
What kind of truck is it?
Why?
I know. This is where I'm kind of
An
worried.
SUV is not from a truck is not a gas mileage move.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a 2018 Silverado, and he was looking at a RAV4 Toyota. So I don't know if
that probably would change gas mileage.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah. Now that does.
But how much does he drive?
He's a drill sergeant, so we're very close to where he works. But when we move, it'll be maybe a 30-minute drive one way. I was not sure.
Is he trying to use this extra money to put inside of baby step 3? Is that what he's trying to do?
Yeah, if we pocketed the $10,000 difference, from my understanding, it would go to our fully funded emergency. We'd be done with baby step 3.
So you're like Dave. You must really like the truck, huh?
It's my husband, not me. But I think he really likes the truck, and now I'm kind of thinking it's a monkey wrench because we just paid it off and kept with it, and now he's talking about downgrading. I don't know if he says it's because he's seeing the big picture, and I don't want to just make a decision very quickly, and I don't know if it's silly to downgrade or just keep it. I don't know if it's silly to keep a truck as well.
When he says he's seeing the big picture, what is he gaining by selling the truck? $10,000 in the baby step 3? That's the big picture move? That's what he's wanting to accomplish?
Pretty much.
And he values that more than he does this truck over a RAV4?
I'm not sure.
Well, that must be why he's wanting to do this, unless there's some other reason he wants to do it.
Yeah, I think he just wants a downgrade is what I'm saying. But
I know, but there's nobody vaguely wants to downgrade. I mean, there's a reason.
Absolutely. Especially once y'all just paid it off. Well, how much are y'all making?
I vaguely want to upgrade. I don't vaguely want to downgrade.
Alissa, how much do y'all make a year?
It's not much of a downgrade.
Yeah, how much do y'all make a year?
Take home is around $47,000 a year.
Yeah, you need to downgrade.
Yep.
He's been actually listening to what we teach.
Yep.
You have a truck. You have a truck that's too expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he's seeing. Yeah, you've got
That's
too
the
much
big
tied
picture.
up in things going down in value. Okay.
That's the
I'm
big
assuming that that's what's happening, is that he's a little more plugged into what we're talking about and teaching than maybe you are. Because we tell people not to have more than half of their income tied up in vehicles, and you probably do.
picture. Absolutely.
So, yeah, I think that's probably smart.
He's right.
Anthony O'Neill, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Nancy's with us in Birmingham. Hi, Nancy. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thank you for helping us be better stewards of God's money.
Well, thank you.
I'm calling. Well, thanks. I'm calling today with a question about what you would recommend for the amount of an umbrella policy to protect your nest egg. We do have 2 kids on our auto policy. We are everyday millionaires, and we just want to make sure that we're making a wise decision as far as total coverage.
I'd pick up another $1 million as an umbrella policy. You can do that for usually $250, $300 a year. And
Okay.
just check with your property and casualty insurance provider. Whoever's got your homeowners and car would be probably the least expensive way to get it. It's what that does is it attaches to the top of, adds to the liability limits on your homeowners or your car. So those things stay in place, plus $1 million is what the $1 million umbrella
Okay.
does. Because
So
as
it's
soon
not
as
a
someone
specific
discovers,
percentage?
if you're in a car wreck and someone discovers that you have some money, you have a target on your butt.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what I'm worried about. So it's not based on how much your nest egg is?
No, I mean, they're you know, I have had $1 million, I had a $5 million, and I got a $10 million now. Which nowhere near is sufficient, you know, if you want to go the size of my net worth. It's not even close. But basically what I'm buying there is lawyers.
Right.
Because the insurance company's not going to want to pay out $10 million, and so they're going to fight to the death with someone that, unless there's a true liability, unless their client, me, has truly posed a liability. But if there's just somebody that's trying to be some ambulance chasing lawyer, so to speak, that's they're trying to get money quick and easy out of somebody, then they're not getting it out of me.
Okay. So we have $2 million currently. Do you think that's enough then?
As
Should
an
we up it
umbrella?
by one. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's fine. Well, what's your net worth?
About $4 million.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Because here's the thing: you're not going to lose a lawsuit. The likelihood of you losing a $5 million lawsuit and not losing a $2 million lawsuit is 0.
Okay.
So if you lose the $2 million, you know the insurance company is going to fight it. But if you do something that's completely negligent, and you know you're completely out of control or something, and you cause a wrongful death due to head-on DUI or something like that, then you know you're going to lose your stuff, and no amount of insurance in the world is going to take care of that.
Okay. Okay.
But
That makes
if you're just, the main thing I'm after here is somebody bumps into you, or you bump into somebody, and they try to act like it's something that it's not. Not a legit, or even a small claim that was. You know, say a $500,000 claim or something like that, you wouldn't want to absorb that for no more than you paid for the $2 million. But a $50 million claim, this is not going to help you with that.
Right.
That's my point.
Well, okay.
I mean, if your kid gets drunk and hits a car full of people and kills 8 people, and there's a $50 million claim on you for wrongful death, then on your kid or whatever, then you know you got other issues that an umbrella is not going to solve.
Right. Okay.
So this is for the smaller or the medium-sized ones. The uber small, $10,000. You probably got that as a deductible. So you're going to take care of that anyway. So what'd you pay for the $2 million umbrella?
We pay, I think, $600 a year.
That's about right. Okay, good. I hadn't priced a $2 million in a long time, so that's good. Who's it with? You want to say?
State Farm.
Okay. All right. Good. Yeah. That's a very good price. It's not a. You're not getting ripped off, and you're not overpaying by double or something like that. That's not a bad price at all on a $2 million umbrella. So good. Hey, thanks for the call. Open phones at 888-825-5225. So Anthony, one of the things we teach around here is that once you start to build wealth, you hit that baby steps millionaire, everyday millionaire status. You've got your $1 million net worth. You start having to do things to get rid of the risk.
Yeah.
You got to play defense and offense.
Yeah.
And defense includes extra insurance. Offense includes high deductibles, which keeps the extra insurance cheaper.
Yes. Yeah. Man.
And if you start buying other things, like you start buying some real estate or something, maybe you put that in other names. Meaning opening LLCs, which is what I have my real estate in, and those sorts of things. And it's called just risk management at that point. You're managing risk, spreading it around so that the target on any one of these things is small enough that it's less attractive for some attorney to spend all their life trying to get your money.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, let's say, Dave, why would you say, because this is some of the questions that I get from younger people, well, why not an LLC? Why not go get a S Corp?
Well, holding real estate in an S Corp you can't do.
Yeah.
It won't work from a tax standpoint.
Okay.
They're about the same thing if you're running a business. They're very similar. The LLC in some states is easier to operate.
Yeah.
But for holding real estate, you can't hold passive income like real estate income. You can't hold rental in an S Corp.
Okay.
It has to be active income like you're running a business.
Right.
And rental properties, different classification of business. So you would put your real estate into an LLC. This company, Ramsey, is the Lampo Group, is the formal name, was an S Corp originally. Technically still is an S Corp, but we rolled it into an LLC because of Tennessee's tax status.
Oh.
They tax LLCs differently than S Corps, and it keeps us from being taxed.
Wow.
Because Tennessee does not have an income tax.
Exactly.
Yeah, but on the S Corp, we were getting into all these other side angle taxes and stuff, and we had to move away from that. But on the federal level, it's exactly the same. It's passed through to your personal on a federal level.
I just learned something.
But from state to state, you do that. And so I've had, this company started as a sole proprietorship, just my name, my social security number.
Yeah.
Moved it to an S Corp, and then later have wrapped that into an LLC because of local taxation.
Okay.
Local tax law. So you just got to constantly be looking at that stuff as you're building wealth. Risk management, tax management, all those kinds of things start to take up more and more of your time to keep the government's hands off of money you've already paid taxes on.
Now, Dave,
they'll go after it again.
So what do you say to people who are debt free, have $500,000 in savings and investments? Should they still start covering themselves a little bit early, or wait until you hit that 7-figure?
I think you're fine to go, because it's $200 to get you $1 million umbrella. I'd probably do it.
Okay.
Once you start to worry about it, but I mean, up until $500,000, I wouldn't. I would just not. Because most people, they're not coming after $100,000 in a situation like that. They're coming after millions.
Millions
is what they want, or they see $500,000, and to them that's like hitting the lottery.
Yes.
And so it's. I literally one time I caused a wreck.
Okay.
I was going across a bridge. It was raining like crazy, like it has been today here in Tennessee. Whew. And I was half watching what I was doing, and I slid and I hit and I bumped a car from behind. Yeah. Now the car I hit in front of me. Mm-hmm. I hit them pretty hard, not like super hard, but hard enough. They were sitting still at a stoplight that it pushed them into the next car. The next car had a dent in it the size of a softball. I mean, they barely got bumped.
And they came for you.
And that woman comes out holding her back like she was dying, and she wasn't any more hurt than fly the moon. She just thought, ding, ding, this is my ticket. And the stinking insurance company, my insurance company, decided to pay her against
serious?
you don't have any rights. They're going to do what they're going to do because they didn't want to be sued by her. And so they paid her to get rid of her. They gave her $5,000, and she was not any more hurt than fly to the moon. But that taught me, people out there, because if I get hit like that and I'm not hurt, I'm not going to try to. I'm not going to commit insurance fraud.
No.
No. But I'm telling you, when it's the size of a softball, you did not get a back injury. Okay,
Absolutely.
It's just common sense. So, but people are out there, and so you got to be thinking like she's thinking. So it's very, very wise. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. Our thanks to James Childs, our producer, Kelly Daniel, our associate producer and phone screener. Anthony O'Neill is my co-host today. I am Dave Ramsey, your host, and we will be back.
Hey guys, this is James, senior producer for The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? And a lot of those people listen on one of our 600 plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, head to theramseyshow.com.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Anthony O'Neill, Ramsey personality, best-selling author of the book Debt-Free Degree, How to Go to College Without Debt. He can show you how. He's my co-host today as we're taking your calls about your life and your money. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Monique is in Trenton, New Jersey. Hi, Monique. How are you?
Hi. Wonder if you can help me figure out if I can afford this next move. I am 75 years old, single. I own my own home, which I can sell for about $350,000. I thought I was going to stay here forever. It's a 2-story home. However, 3 months ago, I suffered a one heck of an injury, which made me rethink things. And now I want to sell this house and get into a senior living complex. And I'm wondering if you can help me figure out if I can afford this thing long term. My assets, my net worth is approximately $1 million. The initial buy-in for an apartment that I like is about $270,000 with a monthly fee of $3,000. That is going to be going up historically, they say, by approximately 4%. Now, my monthly income is approximately $48,000. That includes pulling out of my stock and bond portfolio. The rest of it is Social Security and an annuity.
You mean your annual income?
Yes, I'm sorry. What did I say?
You said monthly.
I was about to say, yeah, you can clearly afford it.
No, yeah. So you got about $50,000 a year to live on. You're going to put most of your house back into this deal, and you're taking on an extra $3,000. What do you get for $3,000 a month after you've already paid for the apartment?
Just about everything. Okay, all utilities. You get 30 meals a month. All the social stuff that goes on. Now that's just independent living. They also have what they call a continuum of care where you can move into assisted living and then later into nursing home or memory care, and those monies go up. Assisted living goes to $55 fee a month, $5,500 a month, and memory care at $8,500 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So, is this
what happens to the property? What happens to the property when you die?
They keep 10% of it, and the rest of it goes back into your estate.
Okay. And they go up in value, I assume.
No, I don't think they do.
Mm. Okay.
No, they're keeping all of that.
Okay. Okay. So
now you can, if you start to run out of money, the deal is they can't throw you out once you're in. They contracted to take care of you forever.
Yeah, but they're looking at your net worth for that, so they know they got you covered.
And also, they're looking at that money that they have up front, the buy-in money, which they will start to chip away from in the event that you lose the ability to pay. So is this something which is reasonable for me to think about? They're asking what they're saying for financial requirements, assets, approximately 2 times your initial buy-in, including a house. And they want an income, which is you multiply your monthly charge by 1.4. Now, see, I don't know what income is.
Well, it's your $48,000. So $4,000 a month, and they want 3 times 1.4, so you're okay.
But
you qualify. Believe me, they're going to sell you this. Okay, so what is an alternative? You know, the way to look at it is say, okay, what other options are there? And do I, you know, where am I at risk and what else can I do? So if you bought a similar property and bought your own care for $3,000 a month, including food, but that property went up in value, but you'd have to mess with the potentially, you know, if it was a condominium, maybe you had to take care of the inside of it. The exterior is part of an HOA. But the asset doesn't, you know, it does go up in value, and they don't keep the appreciation. You keep the appreciation. Your estate keeps the appreciation. So you're 75. Other than this accident, you're in good health, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So let's say, 10 or 15 years worth of appreciation on a piece of real estate.
Yeah.
So 15 years ago, what was this $350,000 property worth?
I'm going to tell you, 25 years ago, it was 150.
Yeah. So it's worth 200.
It's gone up 100%.
It's gone up from 200 to 350. It's gone up 150 in 15 years. Yeah. And that's, you know, that's what you're giving up. But what you've got is a system and a group of people around you to take care of you in all kinds of different stages. So it's how much, obviously they're running a business. They're not doing anything evil. It's not a scam. But this is one of the ways that elder care is structured these days. And it obviously has a profit built into it. There's no question about that. And we don't, you know, I don't mind a restaurant making a profit on me. I don't mind my car repairman making a profit on me, and I don't mind your nursing home making a profit on you, or your assisted living making a profit on you. We don't mind that. The question is just, do you have a different way you can do this that'll give you the same services at a better transactional rate? Maybe not. It doesn't sound like nothing's killing me here with the numbers. Are you hearing anything scaring you with the numbers?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm kind of like, okay,
what you're giving up? What you're giving up is a sense of control and ownership.
Yes.
Yes, that's true. And what I'm gaining primarily is socialization, because they've got 5 million clubs.
5.
So you can go stay in another one if you want to go travel.
You can just.
Is that what you're saying?
Stay in another one. No, so they've got lots of people there that would be my age that I can say hi to and have coffee with.
Oh, okay. But I thought you said they got 5
million clubs. Like, what do you mean?
What does that mean? Oh, you're exaggerating. You're saying there's a bridge club and a bunch of social things on site.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good Lord. I thought you were joining a timeshare or something. I didn't know what you were getting in.
Me too.
Okay.
I was like, whoa.
Where are we going to all these clubs? Okay.
Right.
Now we're going clubbing. Okay.
Not anymore, Dave. Not anymore.
All right.
Of course, you know, I would love to leave a legacy for my grandchildren, my children.
You know what? That's secondary. All this money that you built up is first and foremost to take care of you. Secondly, to leave an inheritance.
Right.
We don't want to be wasteful, and you don't want to be ripped off.
Right.
But you know, the only I've looked at these things like 10 times. I'm not an expert on them, so I'm kind of wading in this like a little bit newbie like you, but I'm looking at just the math on it. I think what you're getting is a system and a process around you that gives you more comfort than what you're paying.
Because I'm looking at this point, because this scared me badly.
Yeah.
The injury.
Yeah, the peace.
It really did.
The piece that you're getting for this. What you're giving up is the appreciation on the real estate.
Yep.
And a sense of control. You're pretty much going to do their thing at their price. That's what they're going to do. And you know, you're stuck with that. So but you know, just run the numbers out and go, you know, can I pay this? Yeah, you can pay it. and it gets rid of food costs and utility costs out of your budget and housing costs out of your budget. So it's not bothering me. I think you want to do it, and that's part of what makes me want you to do it. What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices, and they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings. Anthony O'Neill, Ramsey Personalities, our co-host today. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out for yourself why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window covering. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best possible deal.
So, Dave, today's question comes from Bill in South Dakota. He says, we are debt-free except our house and have 6 months of expenses in our emergency fund. We invest 15% and have $53,000 in non-retirement investments. My kids will be in college after I turn 59. I would like to help them with college expenses by using our retirement funds as needed instead of setting up a 529. Is this a good idea? No. I would not use your retirement funds to support your kids. I would still invest into a 529.
Yep. Yeah, the 529 is going to grow completely tax-free. So is a Roth IRA. But you want to leave that Roth IRA and let it grow, leave it alone and let it continue to grow throughout your retirement years tax-free. And so the 529 is a better vehicle. It's more tax efficient for you than messing up your retirement nest egg. So Anthony's exactly right. Yeah. It's seldom a good idea to use almost never a good idea. I go further to use the wrong vehicle for the wrong thing.
Absolutely.
You just don't use a sports car to be a bulldozer. Yeah. I mean, you just don't. There's a reason that they're different. And so I'm making up something there. It wasn't even good, but
no, that's a good analogy, though.
You're just using the wrong tool for the wrong job.
And if you're using a car to be a bulldozer, you're hurting the car. And
you got an inefficient bulldozer.
Exactly. So if your retirement is set up to help you retire, what you're doing is you're only hurting yourself at retirement age, and then you're putting more headache on your kids to now help you. And so focus on your retirement, keep your retirement, go ahead and start investing into their 529. And hey, what if you're too late right now? What if you're not, ahead of the game and you won't have enough to cover the college expenses? Well, sit down and have a conversation with them, get a copy of my book, Debt-Free Degree, and put a lot of the ownership on them. Focus on your grades. Focus on the SAT scores, the ACT scores, and we can find the money to make up whatever you don't have. But do not sacrifice your future.
Isabelle is with us in San Angelo, Texas. Hi, Isabelle.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Awesome. So I recently married my soulmate, and sadly, my soulmate had lots of debt. So we've been gazelle intense about paying off his car and his credit card bills, but we still have $90,000 left in student loans. And my question is, we have a rental home in San Angelo that is really close to Angelo State, and I was planning on keeping it so my kids could use it. I have 5 kids. And the oldest is going to college in 4 years. So we're renting it. I figured they could live there when they went to ASU. But if I sold it now while the market's, we could probably get out of debt in a year. So I just don't know.
What does your soulmate make?
About 85.
What do you make?
I am just a substitute right now.
Okay. So how long do you think it's going to take to pay off 90, making 85?
At this pace, 3 to 5.
Okay.
But I didn't have any debt except for my mortgage before the marriage, and so I'm just ready to get back there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And since we're making headway right now because we're not being charged interest, so everything is going straight to the loans.
What does your what's your fiance do your new husband do for a living?
He works oil field.
Okay.
Now, do you plan on being
controller.
a substitute teacher for the next 3 years?
Well, that's the other thing. I could get a full-time job. It's just that I tried that at the beginning of this year, and my kids had to spend a lot of time alone.
Okay.
And so I just decided to stay home.
Okay.
And now I sub at their school. I'm in a classroom with one of them right now.
Okay, that's fair. Well, I mean, the trade-off is this. Can he pick up any extra hours? Where can we cut the budget and get on a written, detailed plan? I think you're debt-free in 3 years. $30,000 a year out of 85 is doable.
Yes.
And that's times
That's
3
the plan
is
right
90.
now.
Yeah, times 3 is 90. So 3 to 5 is not an option. 3 is an option.
I like that.
Or sooner. By cranking up something, income, or cranking down expenses. So you're trading 3 years of struggle for this rental house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Rental house is paid for, right?
No.
It's not. Okay. What do you owe on it?
100.
And it's worth how much?
My realtor says it may sell for 180 right now.
Oh, so it wouldn't quite pay it all off then?
No.
Not quite.
And you're saying your kids can stay there when they go to college?
Yes.
And you know for sure they're going there. That's where they want to go.
How long have you been married?
Since July.
Of last year.
Yes.
And everything's going good there?
Everything's great.
I'm selling the rental.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I want out of
Because
debt.
I want to, but he doesn't want to.
I want out of debt.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's basically making you lose your investment for his student loans, so that's a bit of a shaming issue for him, but we're not dealing with him and you anymore. We're dealing with you as a couple. And what puts you guys in the best position 10 years from today versus what makes you feel good today? So I love rental real estate. I'm not going to fight this hard with 5 kids in the house and live on nothing for 3 years just to keep a rental property.
Right.
It's just not that appealing to me. I'll get another one later.
Yeah. I thought it was debt free. That's why I was.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And you got payments on it, and you got to screw with renters, and you got 5 kids.
Yep.
So we got rid of hassle, and we got rid of debt. And because rental property is work, I mean, you have to mess with it, and so it's not going to the mailbox and picking up a check. It's not that simple. So
now, don't take 3 years to pay off the remaining debt, though. Once you
do it in 20 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we're cleaning up, getting every nickel out of every couch in this house, and we're getting out of debt right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
Very aggressive.
Yeah, very aggressive. And then his part of it is that you guys say, okay, as these kids go back to school, as these kids go off to college, well, let's try to get in a position we can just pay cash for a rental over there.
Yeah.
And put them in it if it's across town.
Yeah.
But there's no requirement. Listen, I own a bunch of real estate. 0 Ramsey kids stayed in one of my properties while they were in college.
Wow.
0.
Wow.
I did not go to Knoxville, 200 miles away, and start buying properties to put college kids in. I just put them in there. Daniel and I were talking about it at breakfast this morning. My son and I had breakfast. He goes, "You remember that old ratty house we rented and you wouldn't let me co-sign, so we prepaid the rent?" I'm like, "Yeah, because I'm not signing a co-signature, and neither are you. That's a lot more dangerous than prepaid rent." So I just I paid his portion of the rent for 2 semesters. and then he was on a budget. I mean, we were supporting him going to college, but and his portion wasn't that much. It was $200-300 a month or something, because it was not a fine property.
And by that
I don't want to be the landlord of that bunch of goobers. I mean, do you want to be their landlord?
No, but it's like, as
8 college boys in one house, shoot me and get it over with. There's smells there you'll never get rid of.
As a father, as a wealthy father, I'm just surprised to hear you say that, Dave, because most wealthy people will be like, yeah, I'll buy the house. That's cool.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, then I got to get rid of it, and I got to deal with the crap. I got to detox it.
That's fair.
No, I'll just let somebody else deal with that. A little bit of rent money is that's a cheap out, man. This is the Ramsey Show. How many of you, when the pandemic was going and 2020 is happening, and you're watching the roller coaster of the stock market, you kind of got your stomach up into your throat going, my retirement, I'm scared. Some of you watched it go down, and then you watched it come back up, and maybe you're close to retiring and you're wondering if you should work a few more years to make up the difference. Maybe you weren't investing in the right things, or maybe you weren't investing at all, or maybe you pulled your money out, which was really stupid. See, folks, if you're in one of these situations, I want you to know you don't have to face this pain and this uncertainty alone. You need people in your corner. Now more than ever, seek out the advice of an investment professional, a conscientious investment pro like one of our SmartVestor pros is not going to tell you to invest in something dumb like gold or Bitcoin. They're going to spend a ton of time looking at your current situation, putting you in a conservative investment with a proven long-term track record. And they're going to show you what you're doing and teach you so you're making the real decision. You don't have to let something like 2020 kill your confidence for investing. Go to RamseySolutions.com/SmartVestor. Find an investment pro in your area. Never again face a global crisis alone. RamseySolutions.com/SmartVestor. So, Anthony, the stock market dove a year ago. Mm-hmm. And in a matter of a couple months, it was back. And the people that dove out of the stock market because they were at home being quarantined 1 year ago right now
are upset.
Were freaked out.
Yep.
And they thought, this pandemic is truly the end of the world. The stock market, I mean, they were really, there was terror. There was a lot of real fear.
Yes.
And you and I are doing a lot of media then. All the Ramsey personalities were doing streaming events out of here. The message of hope went out. We did all these different things trying to get people to calm down and just go back up, pan out, have a long-term perspective. Mm-hmm. This too shall pass. And it passed from an investment perspective faster than the actual virus passed.
Absolutely.
I mean, I thought the investments might take a year to come back and the COVID would be gone in a month.
Yeah.
And it's quite the opposite. Yeah. It's taken a year to get the COVID stuff out of most people's systems. It's not out of everybody's system yet.
Right.
And, but the investments have been back a long time.
Yeah.
They came back quick. And if you have, all the data tells us that if you have a professional in your corner that talk you off the ledge, keep you from panicking, that you have a higher probability of making money. It's not that their investments necessarily are better than you would have picked on your own. Right. It's that you don't jump off a cliff.
Absolutely. My investor, Dave, when I called my SmartVestor, he said, hey, and this is something I've heard you say, but he said, do not forget, on paper, yes, it's going to go down. But when you take it out, that's permanent. It will go back up. It has to go back up. And he said, it was probably like around last September. He suspected it will be back up within 8 months. And Dave, it went right back up. And the numbers were very well. And I remember all of us begging people, do not touch your investments. Do not touch your 401k, even though the government was giving you a way out. Do not touch your Roth IRAs. Do not touch none of the stuff. And now I have friends who have called me and said I messed up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They wouldn't listen to you. Wouldn't listen to me. It's like, and that's your SmartVestor Pro was correct. When it goes down and you sell, you actually have locked in. We call it, you locked in your losses.
There you go.
You guaranteed that you're going to lose money.
Yes, sir.
Because you just did.
Yeah.
And so versus I remember. Somebody said to Warren Buffett one time, the price of the stock portfolio that he had went down several $1 billion in one of these downturns, and they said, Mr. Buffett, you just lost several $1 billion, and he said, no, I didn't.
Only on paper.
I haven't sold it.
Yeah.
When I sell it, that's when I've lost it.
Yep.
When it comes back up, did I gain it? No, not till did you make several billion? No, not till I sell it.
Right.
So it's just, you haven't made anything until you actually put the money in your pocket or put the loss in your pocket and lock it in.
Yeah.
And so, but the data tells us that just like having a personal trainer gives you a better chance of winning, just like having a coach inside Ramsey Plus gives you a better chance of finishing your dead snowball.
Yeah.
A SmartVestor Pro in your corner gives you a better chance of staying in the investment, which is actually the statistical key.
Yeah.
The secret sauce is not figuring out the perfect investment. The secret sauce is keep investing and never stop.
Never stop. Yep. And also one of the secret sauce, David, I think, which I love hearing you, even at your level of status, you still have a SmartVestor Pro that just educates you on certain things when you meet with him on a yearly basis. And I was like, man, I'm constantly learning. Even when I was even a little fearful myself last year, Dave, I said, all right, cool. I'm going to trust Dave. I'm going to trust you all. I'm not going to touch this thing. And Dave, I'm trying to tell you, even a small fear that did hit me for a quick second. I ain't going to say.
Sure. No, it does. I mean,
it hit.
You're not human if you're not facing some big blow up thing like a pandemic and you don't go, oh my God, what's happening here?
Yeah.
I mean, in 2008, I remember distinctly sitting. I had done 3 shows on Fox in New York, and the stock market is going off a cliff.
Ooh.
I mean, it went from 13,000 to 6,500. I mean, it's going off a cliff. And I remember sitting in the steakhouse there right next to Fox. Sharon and I went over there for lunch after I just finished Neil Cavuto, and I'd been in there with Neil. Neil's smart as a whip, and he's like, aren't you scared? No, I'm not scared. No, I'm not scared. I kept saying, no, I'm not scared. And then I'm sitting there in New York City in this steakhouse, and I'm watching these big red letters go across the side of the Fox building, watching the stock market drop. Minute by minute by minute, it's dropping. And I know this stuff. I teach this stuff.
Right.
And I'm going, people that are smarter than me are scared. Maybe I should be scared.
Right.
And I said, Sharon, am I dumb for not being scared? And she said, no, we actually know what we're doing. We've been through these kinds of things before.
Yep.
And we're people of faith. We don't place all of our happiness based on the size of our stinking bank account.
Exactly.
Anyway, and we've been broke before, and we didn't lose our minds then. We can be broke again. We'll be all right, but we're not going to be broke. It's going to be okay.
Yeah. I mean, and that's how I felt too, Dave. Honestly, I was, okay, get over this fear and keep on moving. And I'm so grateful that I didn't do it. So grateful my family didn't do it. But I have to be honest. I was sad and hurt that my friends didn't listen.
Yeah. Well, you got to have somebody in your corner to talk you off the ledge. That's what it comes down to. Jude is in Tampa, Florida. Hi, Jude. How are you?
How you doing, Mr. Ramsey, Mr. O'Neill?
I'm good. Great, man. How can we help?
Great. Well, I find myself actually in a good situation and just looking for a little bit of advice. Currently, my take-home household income is $150,000 a year. About $83,000 of that between a military pension and VA benefits, and then the rest between myself and my wife's jobs. I'm about to change jobs this coming summer within the next couple months. Just don't have a firm date yet. And I am debt-free except for our house, which is, we owe about $258 on the mortgage. So my question is, the job that I'm going into, the 401k that they offer, without me having to contribute, they do 15%. So I already contribute to my retirement 15% of everything.
Good.
My question is would it be wise at all? I really want to pay off the house to just contribute 15% of my non-pension income, because that pension is going to be there, for my life. Would I be able to just contribute the 15% of the non-pension income, and the money that I'm saving, dump all that on the house to get the house paid off quicker.
Dude, you're a grown man. You're able to do whatever you want to do.
Okay, well, I'm looking for some advice as far as what you would recommend.
I would recommend putting 15% of your income into retirement.
Absolutely.
And all these other things are it's just because the answer to the question is, how rich do you want to be?
Right.
Right, okay.
You know, I mean, I don't want to be quite as wealthy. Okay, well then, no, I mean, you're putting it all towards the house, so it is going to work out. But
right.
the interesting thing is that you won't change the date you pay off your house, but by 1 year by doing all this.
Wow.
Maybe 2 years, but you're not going to change it by 8 years. And so it's not changing it as much as it feels like in your emotions it's going to change it. So you can do whatever you want to do, obviously. We recommend you put 15% of your income away. Take care of kids' college in baby step 5 and pay off your house with anything you can scrape up past those 2 in baby step 6. And I don't think it's going to change your house payoff date as much as you think it's going to change it when you run out the math, actually. Thank you for joining us, America. Anthony O'Neill, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Amy is with us in Cincinnati. Hi, Amy. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi. Thank you very much. I just have a question. My brain just keeps shutting down when I try to process it. I live in Ohio. We are putting our will together with the Mama Bear legal forms, but our son is incarcerated in a different state. And that's where I sort of hit a block of, I'm not really sure how to deal with that in our will. Like it'll be a few more years. And if something happened before then, I'm not sure how that works.
Okay, so what you're saying, I think, is that you want to leave him money anyway, but you don't know how it will be handled while he's incarcerated.
Right. And then yes.
Okay. So you don't have any question about whether to leave him money, or
no,
based on his crime or his life or anything else. It's just how to do it.
How to do it.
Okay. All right.
How much longer is he incarcerated, Amy?
At least probably 3 more years.
Okay. And
I've been mulling this over for 2 years already. Like, I've got to get this done in case something would happen.
You have other children?
I do. 2. They're all grown.
They are all grown?
Yes.
Okay.
We have a couple properties, and we're everyday millionaires, but I'm just not sure, how to proceed with him incarcerated in another state.
Well, the other state doesn't matter. He doesn't need money now,
right.
And he would need access to it on a limited basis, however you wanted to limit it coming out. How is his relationship with his siblings?
It's good.
So they are as supportive as you are?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you just leave his portion in trust with one of your other kids as the trustee?
Okay.
And then that trust could be dissolved at on whatever terms you wanted it to be dissolved. If you feel like he's responsible enough to just be handed the money when he walks out of jail, which feels a little weird, but I don't know what he did or what's going on, so it's hard for me to tell. But I would want to protect him from himself,
right?
Blowing the money,
Right.
Blowing the money.
Right.
But how old is he?
23.
Okay.
So yeah, and I don't. I guess I could get a neutral person if not one of his siblings. I don't want anything to have to fall on one of his siblings. As far as managing it, but
well, you can, if you want to get that complicated, you may want to get an attorney to draft this, and you can set the attorney up as the trustee.
Oh, okay.
A state attorneys often serve as trustees.
Okay. And so then you just divide everything up into his third goes in the trust, and then that's
exactly.
That's that.
Or whatever you're going to leave him can go into trust, and it could just simply sit there and be managed for his benefit until he's released, and then it's turned over to him. Or it's turned over to him a little bit at a time after he's released, however you prefer to do that.
Right.
But you're going to leave this kid $500,000, it sounds like.
Probably around there.
Yeah.
So on the actual physical property, like house and things like that, I've been told that you should have it on death, the deed transferred to, like, one of our kids.
No, you'll lose step. Yeah, I wouldn't put them on the deed, but you can have it transferred to them upon death.
Okay.
That gives them a stepped-up basis in it, and you don't want to.
Okay.
You do not want to put their name on it prior to death.
Right. Okay. So just have it transferred to them upon death.
Yeah, and hopefully you've got properties that you don't have to have them being like partners in, that you can give one of them one property, one of them the other property, and so on, right?
Right. Yes, that's how it is.
And then kind of even out the differences with cash, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right, because they don't want them to have to get into all that.
I'm curious, because you seem very, very sure that he's 23, he'll be 26 when he gets out, that he's going to be capable of managing this, and yet he did something that landed him in jail. What'd he do?
Well, it was he went off his medication and committed a felony. So, but normally this is not an issue. There's been but it's all
medication. What was
he
on medication for?
For like depression, and I don't
bipolar.
Get into all the details, but
that's okay. He's bipolar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's part of it, and so it was just a.
Okay, I'm trying to think with you here. I'm not trying to shame him or you. I'm just trying to think with you how we can best be a blessing to this young man. Because the last thing, because money magnifies people, the good and the bad in them.
Right.
And so in all of us, it happens. So the more money you get, the more you are of who you are, because you got more power to do things with and more margin, more tools in your hands. And so I would, if I were you, I would consider prayerfully something like he needs to have 6 months after he's out that he's on his medication.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's not going to be good for him to have $500,000 if he's off his medication.
Nope.
Right.
Because last time he was off his medication, it wasn't good. You know, this kind of thing. Because I don't want this to be a curse to him rather than a blessing.
Right.
That's all I'm thinking.
I agree.
So think through some ways how you can help him be protected against himself until he has the character structure or whatever to carry this.
Yeah, and you know what, Dave, I was going to chime in. You know, unfortunately, I have a cousin that was in a similar situation, and his mother left him some money, and she did for 5 years. Every 1 year anniversary, he had access to more money.
Yeah. And
so, I mean, and it worked for him. Now, unfortunately, after the 5th year, He made some more bad decisions and landed back in jail. But I agree with you that if he would have
gave him the best shot.
Exactly.
Yeah, that gives him a gradual thing, because otherwise you get lotto syndrome.
Yep.
When somebody, you come out of jail and you got to have $1 million. You feel like you hit the lotto.
Yep.
And and it doesn't bode well for the mental illness that he's struggling with.
Nope.
So you need to get on top of that, because you're always going to have money problems and other problems too, obviously, as long as you do that. So it's a struggle.
But I mean, listen to this mother's heart, though. Like, hey,
very sweet.
He messed up. I still want to be a blessing.
Sure, that's very sweet. I got no issue with that at all. I'm not saying, I'm not trying to punish somebody further. No. That's not the point. The point is to do the opposite, to make sure that we're not enhancing their ability to screw up.
Is there like a law, Dave? Because I'm not familiar with this, but can you extend it like a long period of time, like over 15, 20 years?
You can put whatever you want on the trust. You can put. You never get the money. You can only take the income off of it your entire life. That's where trust fund baby comes from.
Yep.
They live off the money of the trust fund, but they never get the trust.
Yep.
That's where the concept comes from.
Yep.
So yeah, it's you can set it up however you want. I wouldn't recommend that though.
Yeah.
I think that's. It doesn't bode well for everybody involved. Okay. At some point, the people need to be able to carry the weight of the wealth without it being a damage to them, or they need to relinquish it, one of the two. This is The Ramsey Show. Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. This is a small business entree leadership theme hour. If you own and operate a business, or you're a leader in a business and you want to talk small business, any questions you've got about business, this is your hour. We're going to talk to you because you are heroes. You are the backbone of the American economy. Most of the jobs in America are provided by you. Most of the job growth is provided by you. You were the last to shut down and the first to open up. Because you have to. You don't have a choice. You get up every day, you leave the cave, you kill something and you drag it home. And at Ramsey, we love entree leaders. We are entree leaders. The combination of entrepreneurs and leadership. That's where I got that name. I made it up, and it's the title of a New York Times best-selling book, #1 best-selling book. Entree leadership, how to own and operate a business. It's our playbook of how we run Ramsey, and continues to evolve as we take on new challenges running Ramsey, new things to run Ramsey with. And so we're here to help you today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You guys make the world go round out there. You gals make the world go round out there. The ones that do this are the place that this is the free enterprise system. You're proof that capitalism is alive and well, that the free enterprise system works. And we love you for that. So we're here to help you today. 888-825-5225. Amy's with us in Hayes, Kansas. Hi, Amy. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi. How are you, Dave?
Better than I deserve. What's up in your world?
Well, I have a question. I am a small business owner, and I'm wondering to know when to quit my full-time job and follow my massage therapist career. I'm wondering if this is a good economy to depend solely on my business. My full-time job has a 401k that matches up to 6% and has really good health insurance. I can get health insurance through healthcare.gov or CHM. So is staying with my full-time job worth the 6% matching funds on my 401k? Currently, I'm okay.
No, you go live your dream. You don't keep a job for benefits. Ugh. Gross.
Well, I'm currently
now, what you do have to have is you have to have money.
Okay.
So you can't be making $3 as a massage therapist and walk away from $103,000 as a job.
No, I don't. I make just as much with my massage therapy as I do my full-time job.
How much?
I make last year through my taxes, I made $43,595 at my full-time job. In massage therapy, I did have to close for 2 months, so I only made $38,153.
Okay.
But the last year, I made pretty much the exact same amount.
And are you single? It sounds like you are.
No, I'm married.
Okay, so what does your husband make?
He makes. He's actually retired this year.
What does he make?
He makes $36,000 a year.
Okay.
Just in retirement.
So if your income goes from $100,000 to $70,000, are you going to be okay? Because that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, we're actually doing the baby steps now, and we're in baby step 2, and we should have baby step 2 done in June.
Okay. Well, it'd be good to have that done and have the emergency fund in place, right?
Right.
Yeah, and then probably a September kickoff or something like that. But here's the thing. Obviously, you're going to make more than $38,000 at massage therapy because A, you'll be full time, and B, you don't have the pandemic to deal with like you did last year, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So Kansas is open. You got not have any issues except for the handful of people who are freaked out still, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Cool. Good for you. Very good. Well, I mean, you're going to see a drop because you've been running this side hustle that's very profitable, and you're going to lose the full-time income and be down to the side hustle income. But you're at the point you should do this.
Okay.
Yes, in September, you should do this. In between now and September, you should go bananas and pile up as much money as you can pile up and be debt-free.
Okay.
And just set yourself a goal of September 1, my emergency fund is complete, and then some extra just for the fun of it. And because we're just going to go bananas here through the summer, and we're going to be debt-free, have a big emergency fund plus a little extra slush, and then we're going to go boom, boom, and go ahead and have a big marketing launch and a blowout plan to go big or go home September, October, November, December. Like I want all of your customers giving certificates for your services as Christmas presents next year, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
You need marketing plans.
Yes, I have that already started. So.
You're fun. You're going to do this. You're incredible.
Well, thank you.
Get them. I love it. See, that right there is what causes business to happen, right there. And listen, folks, there is no benefit on the planet that causes you to want to work for somebody else the rest of your life if you have in your gut to be an entrepreneur. Listen, I love the folks we got 1,000 people on our team. I got some people be with me the rest of their lives here, and I hope they are. And they're very entrepreneurial inside this building, and they're happy with that. And I don't want anybody staying here because we got a good 401k plan. You need to go, if this is not your dream anymore, go dream somewhere else. Go, when your spirit leaves this building, you ought to take your butt with it. And that's true of your job, too. And did you hear her spirit? Her spirit is not at her job anymore. Hadn't been there in a long time. And so let's lay out a plan here, get the boat up next to the dock and jump, baby. Get in the boat. Make her done. I love it. That's so cool. This is how it works right here. This is Entree Leadership. This is what we do every day inside of this brand. And we're pumped right now. We're going to do our summit event, probably the leading leadership event in the nation, maybe in the world, and that's not an exaggeration. This is freaking incredible. It's going to be in Dallas, May the 16th through the 19th, and you can watch it as a live stream. It's sold out, of course, but you can watch it as a live stream if you want, and it's got, listen to this lineup. Man, this is unbelievable. All the Ramsey personalities, so, Ken Coleman, Christy Wright, Dave Ramsey, not all of us, but a bunch of us are going to be there. Marcus Buckingham, Jocko Willink. I can never say Jocko's last name. Willink. He's fabulous. He's fun. Craig Rochelle, pastor of Life Church. Pat Lencioni, best-selling author of The Ideal Team Player and many other books, The Advantage, everything else. Good friend. My good friend John Maxwell's going to be there. John is just he's like the grandpa of all leadership. Sorry, John, but you are. I love you, man. We're all like your grandkids. We all learn from you, and now we're out here teaching leadership. You're just incredible. I talked to him yesterday morning on the phone on my way to work. And Dr. Adrian Sternberg is going to be speaking as well. Dr. John Deloney is going to be speaking. The lineup for this thing is unbelievable. You want to join about 1,000 other business owners watching this online? You can. 3 days. My entire leadership team is going to be watching the live stream event, not working. They're going to be watching the live stream event so that when they get back to work, they're going to be smarter. That's how this works, baby. Text SUMMIT to 44222. Text SUMMIT to 44222.
We were drawn to Christian Healthcare Ministries because we both had young families and we wanted to have more children. And we had also just started a real estate company and needed to find healthcare coverage that would meet our needs. We were attracted to CHM because of its low monthly costs and the ability to negotiate medical costs down.
Established in 1981 and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, CHM is here to meet the needs of your growing family or small business. Check us out at chministries.org/budget.
We absolutely believe in it.
Small Business Entree Leadership Theme Hour. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host here on The Ramsey Show. If you have a small business and you have a question about business, you want to start a business, you have a question about business, you're running a business, you got a question about leadership, we're here to talk to you this hour. Open phones at 888-825-5225. I started this business on a card table in my living room, and I've grown it with the help of a lot of wonderful people and God's blessings over the last almost 30 years now to a $350 million a year business, never borrowing a dime, and having an absolutely incredible culture inside the place. It's a place everyone wants to come to work. The people love each other. They drive for excellence. We strive. We argue positively, not because of politics, but we argue because, not corporate politics, but we argue because we're fighting to win. We're fighting to be able to serve you guys better. Open phones here at 888-825-5225. Brendan is with us in Richmond, Virginia. Hi, Brendan. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So my wife and I started Your Baby Steps back in 2019, and it couldn't have come at a better time because while everyone else around us was sweating through the pandemic, we were in a better position than most.
Good.
Cut to, here we are, 2021. My family and I have been running a business together since 1986, and I was looking at our finances recently, and I'm starting to wonder where the parallels between Your Baby Steps might find themselves in line with small business finance.
That's a great question. We don't use the baby steps in business, but we use the principles that formed the baby steps to form a financial strategy for business. Now, what are the principles? Mm-hmm. The principles are the easiest way to become wealthy is to get out of debt and stay out of debt. So I don't borrow money in business either. The principles are in the house of the wise or stores of choice food and oil. Smart people save money. Businesses have retained earnings, right? The principles are live on less than you make. Businesses need to live on less than they make, thus create a profit. And so these are basic principles that we kind of all know. We would call them common sense, but how do we weave them into a business situation then? Well, we're going to avoid debt. Number one. And that's a hard one because there's always some kind of crap to buy in your personal life or in business. There's always some piece of equipment. There's always something that's going to make it easier. There's always a piece of software. There's always a new hire. There's always something that costs money that I don't have today that I'd like to do to move this business tomorrow. And that temptation to go into debt's always there. Would you agree with that?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So you've got to draw a line in the sand and say no debt. So how are we going to do it? Well, we're either going to do it slower or not at all, because we're going to cash flow this puppy. So if you've got debt, and when we're teaching entree leadership, this is what I teach people in 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 3,000 people in a room, and by God, they're about to be there again. Go figure. And so I tell them, if you've got debt, you need to put yourself, in your case, it sounds like your family is eating out of the business, on a basic living wage, not minimum wage, a basic living wage. And so let's say the business is making a profit of $300,000 and the owners are splitting that up. Don't split it up anymore. Live off of a salary until we get a retained earnings in place and until we get the debts cleared off. And so what I tell people to do is take your run your profit and loss with a salary, a basic living wage, and all profits then should be divided, the lion's share of the profits going towards clearing off any existing debts, and then a smaller portion going towards the continual building of retained earnings. And so in my example a minute ago, let's say a $200,000 profit after you paid yourself a $100,000 salary. Instead of taking home $300, we're taking home $100 with our salary. The other $200 then, we're going to put 80% of it, $160,000 towards debt, and 20% of it towards retained earnings. And so we got $40,000 in retained earnings this year, and we've got $160 in debt, because you're going to need the retained earnings to do the next thing to avoid future debt while you're cleaning off the old debt. It's different than the baby steps. Is that logical to you?
It is. There's certainly parallels to it, but, we wouldn't call them baby steps.
Exactly. It's more of a formula. But what you do need is you need the principles in place, and out of the principles are debt-free, live on less than you make, save money, and we're generous. And so those principles are in place, and with those, then we develop a formula where it's almost automatic. Since let me think here. 1998, 5 years after we started the business, we put the formula in place. We've never had any debt, but every single month we run our profit and loss statement, and every single month we take a percentage of that profit and grow retained earnings with it for future growth and for possible downturns. We were really glad when the pandemic hit that there were millions and millions of dollars in that with 1,000 people on payroll, because it became our emergency funds. That makes sense?
Yeah, and it's exactly, well, that's one of those principles that's in your baby steps. Have an emergency fund. And as a business, a small business, that's absolutely essential.
Yeah, now you've got other family members in your business, right?
Correct.
Are you one of the owners, or you just work there?
I'm one of the owners.
Who owns it with you? Your parents?
So it's shared between my mother, my father, and my sister, and myself.
So 4 of you are owners. Okay. And can you get all of the owners on the same page on these principles?
Slowly getting there. They have all seen what my wife and I were able to accomplish in 2019. In less than 10 months, we're on to baby step 6.
Excellent.
We got crazy about it, and they looked at us a little strangely, but they get it now. They're starting to understand.
Yeah. And it's just, you ask yourself the question in business, when the pandemic hit, if I had no debt and had millions of dollars in retained earnings, would I feel differently than I had millions of dollars in debt and no money? Because millions of dollars of debt and no money is called closed now. They're out of business. And so those companies didn't survive. And that's the question you ask mom, dad, sister is like, look, we've got to always be ready for the upside, for growth. What's the best way to continue to grow in good times? And when the bad times come and the big bad wolf huffs and he puffs and he tries to blow our house in, we want to be the third pig, baby. We want to be in the brick house. And, that's how you get ready, which is exactly what you did at home, Brendan, and now you're trying to transfer that into the business. Very wise to do. Very wise to do. Dylan is in Indianapolis. Hi, Dylan. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up in your world?
All right. So me and my father have just recently decided to open up a small business. We do stonemasonry work. And right now I have one builder and then another builder that is a very good chance for us to make a deal with them. Now we're still stuck on the fact of the marketing and making connections with people to get more consistent work for us. And I didn't know if you had any tips or advice on being able to make more connections or stuff I could do to try to get my name out there, our business or anything like that.
Okay. Well, the first thing I would address is I'm not really wild about partnerships. I would prefer one of you own it and the other one get a percentage of the profits as their pay. And I'm guessing that you are the one concerned about marketing. Your dad's more concerned about laying stone.
Actually, we both lay stone. I mean, I love to do it. It's sort of in the blood.
I didn't say you didn't know how. I said he didn't call me asking about marketing. You did.
No, that's me.
So you're thinking more like an owner. He's thinking more like a product guy. And that's what I'm thinking here. So anyway, be careful with that. That's dangerous. But as far as marketing goes, man, in your world, it's shoe leather. I'm going job site to job site to job site and putting my word out and putting a bid in. And then once you've done a few jobs, lots and lots of pictures and a nice website showing your work. If you're wanting to do work for builders, it's one set of pictures and work and details and specs. If you're doing work direct to consumer, it's a whole different marketing push. And so that's which you need to decide which or how you're going after both if you're going after both. But it's straight up shoe leather, man. Go to the job sites. Small Business Theme Hour here on the Ramsey Show. We're here to talk to you, small business people and business people, about your leadership and business questions. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Our Entree Leadership Summit is our largest event of the year for business owners and leaders. It's happening May 16 through the 19th. You will not find a bigger or better leadership event. I promise you that. It's absolutely incredible. Of course, I'll be teaching. Marcus Buckingham will be with us. Jocko Willink will be with us. U.S. Navy SEAL officer, best-selling author. Marcus, of course, best-selling author of Strength Finders and many other books. Wonderful communicators, both of these guys, along with my friend Craig Groeschel, the founder and pastor of Life Church, or Life.Church. We used to call it LifeChurch.tv. I think they're rebranding. Also started a little thing called the YouVersion Bible app, which has only got like 500 million users now. Craig is an incredible leader and good friend. And Pat Lencioni is going to be with us, best-selling author, another good friend, and great friend of the Entree Leadership Tribe. All of you love Pat. He's always one of our top-rated speakers when he comes. The grandpa of the leadership world, the dean of the leadership world, Dr. John Maxwell, good friend of mine for a couple of decades, is going to be there. It is always an incredible honor and pleasure to have John speak anywhere. He is a wealth of knowledge. Probably written 80 different leadership books, many multiple best-selling books. Absolutely incredible. And an incredible friend, an incredible human being. Dr. Adrienne Sternberg will be with us, leadership expert and speaker. She is incredible. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality. Christy Wright, Ramsey personality. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality. We'll all be there. The event is sold out. However, you can still attend via live stream. And you'll be joined by over 1,000 business owners and their teams who have already registered to attend online. You can get in touch with our team, and they will set it up to where you and your whole team can sit and watch this. And we recommend that you set aside a couple of days and watch these incredible leadership thought leaders, incredible leadership communicators. These lessons are absolutely amazing. Let me tell you what, I've got 174 people on our leadership team here at Ramsey. All of them will be sitting and watching all 3 days. They will not be at their desk. They will be watching all 3 days. Some of them will be in attendance live, and some of them will be here in Nashville in our offices, and we've set aside just, you're not at work, you're at Summit, and you're going to be watching the live stream because it's too important. You leave on fire, your team leaves on fire, you get new ideas. There's nothing like an event like this to get you moving again, especially after something like a pandemic. We need to heal and move on, right? We got stuff to do here. So to register, text SUMMIT to 44222. That's SUMMIT to 44222, and we'll see you on the live stream. I'm telling you, this is world-class speaking, world-class content, world-class production values. This is the leadership event in America this year. And it's absolutely incredible. We're so thrilled to be in Dallas. We'll be there at the Omni, a wonderful company to work with. They are absolutely very customer-centric. They take great care of us, and we're excited to be there with them. We were scheduled in Nashville, but the Nashville mayor, Comrade Cooper, has got us all screwed up here on COVID, so we had to move it. And so we moved it to Dallas, and we'll be broadcasting it from there. It's going to be absolutely fabulous. Angelo is with us in Asheville, North Carolina. Hi, Angelo. What's up?
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. How can I help?
I have a couple of questions for you. I'm 67 years old, and I plan to retire in perhaps 2 years. At 70 when I get my full Social Security. I'm interested in starting a miniature golf course, which would be on my main street in my hometown, which is a tourist town. I've run the numbers, and everything looks good. And speaking to my wife of 43 years, I hope she's not listening because it could be 44. But I think I got everything squared away. The one thing that we cannot agree on is who's going to do the books. So my question to you is, Dave, can I just hire a retired guy with a calculator, maybe a CPA retiree to do my books? And does he have to come in daily to pick up the receipts? And I have a guy who does my taxes, so I guess at the end of the year, we just bring it over to him. So I don't know how we could settle that issue. Who does the books?
What is your wife wanting to do?
She wants to sell the land.
Oh, she doesn't want to do this at all?
I don't think so, no.
Well, I mean, selling the land would kind of keep you from doing it, so.
Yeah, and she says if you do it, you got to do it. And so she doesn't want to get stuck doing the books. And I'm like,
she didn't want you to die and her own a miniature golf course. That's what she doesn't want.
Yeah, well,
sounds like my wife.
That would happen.
That sounds like something Sharon would say. Sharon has figured out I'm going to die first, so we have to plan everything that way.
Yeah, that could be my case too. But
I'm worried about
if I want to go ahead with this.
Yeah, number one, I don't go ahead against my wife's wishes, so you need to get an agreement on this, that you're going to put together a system by which she has an exit strategy on this if you pass away before she does. We're laughing about this, but she's seriously concerned about it, and you need to solve this because very few people are successful in business against their spouse's wishes. So we need to get to some conclusions about. I think she's probably concerned about not running a golf course after you're gone. So you need a way to exit her from it if something happened to you before she passes. And so that's thing one. Yeah. Then thing two, to answer your question on who runs the books, I don't want you to think that the person that runs the books is running the business. You've got to go run the business if you're going to open this, or you're going to have to hire a manager to run the business on a daily basis, and the manager is going to take the receipts and put them in the bank and enter the stuff into the computer is what it amounts to.
Right. Okay.
And so what kind of profit are you projecting on this?
Dave, I lowballed everything and had the business running at 20% calculation, 20% capacity. And I figure it will be open from April 1 to after Thanksgiving, and that's 200 days. I cut it back to 150 considering weather days, and I figure $69,000 net take, and that is not including T-shirts, ice cream, water, a possible food
Did
truck
you
on
pay
there.
a staff out of that pro forma?
No.
Who's going to run it? You're going to run it by
Well,
yourself.
I would like to.
150 days a year. You're going to do everything there by yourself. That's not realistic.
Well, okay.
I mean, if you get the flu, the thing's closed.
I see your point.
While you're taking tickets at the front, there's nobody sweeping up the mess somebody made in the back.
Good point.
So you're going to you need to rethink this. You need to go visit some people that are running miniature golf courses and see what their staffing looks like and get advice from them. Somebody in a different area that's not a future competitor of yours, and just go around and take a little road trip and go visit. You're in Asheville, North Carolina. Run over to Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. Run over to Tennessee. And there's probably 73 of them up and down that strip. And, talk to some of those guys in those resort areas like that, very similar markets, very similar area. What are they doing for staffing? What's their profit look like? What are they doing for their pricing model? Study their businesses for best practices. And then you'll learn a bunch that you don't know today because you don't know what you don't know. So you need an exit strategy for your wife. You need some better best practices to build your business on. And you're going to have to look at your staffing because zero staffing is unrealistic in a retail thing like this, even in a resort community. You're not going to want to do this by yourself every day, dude. That just doesn't sound like fun of anything, no matter how much you love it. This is The Ramsey Show. Scripture of the day, Romans 12:12. Rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, be constant in prayer. Albert Einstein said, in the middle of every difficulty lies opportunity. Dave Ramsey said, in the middle of every opportunity, a small business guy showed up. This is an Entree Leadership Theme Hour. Thanks for joining us. And we want to hear about your opportunity. We want to hear how we can help you and serve you at Entree Leadership. We thoroughly enjoy working with and are honored to work with business people from all over America, particularly small business people. John is in Tulsa. Hey, John, how can we help today?
Hey, Dave. It's a pleasure to speak with you today. How are you?
Better than I deserve, sir. How can I help?
Yes, sir. So just a little bit of background here. My wife and I are both 30 years old. We're on baby step 7. We have an opportunity to take over a family waste hauling business. Long story short, I walked away from the business in 2014 due to some toxicity with my father, and he passed away unexpectedly in 2015 and left it to my mom. I came back to help run the business in 2016, and we now have it running somewhat smoothly. She's looking at transitioning out of the company, and I'm the only one out of 30 siblings that has any interest in continuing to run the company. So my wife and I are 15% owners in the company. We're not extremely passionate about the work that we do, but it allows us a good income, time off to pursue the things that we're passionate about, the ability to give. And, I went to school for heavy equipment operation and, truck driving and stuff. So I'm pretty good at what I do. With all that being said, do you think it's a wise choice to pursue purchasing and running the company and trying to make it into something that my wife and I both enjoy running, or should we move
What
forward?
prohibits it from being something that you enjoy? Is it what you do or how it's done?
Well, I think my mom and I got just kind of thrown into it. Like I said, my dad, passed away unexpectedly, and we were both removed from it. And so, I don't know if.
I mean, you've been running it for 4 years. What is it you still don't like?
I think it's probably just more the people issues and things that I'm not very skilled in dealing with. I think it's probably one of my.
You mean your team?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's pretend for a second.
Trying to do the culture shift.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got some cleanup to do.
Yes, sir.
And you've not been able to do it due to your ownership position yet. But if you owned it and ran it, and you trimmed the dead wood out and the thorns out, and you replanted and grafted in some beautiful vines, would you like running it with people that you wanted around?
I really think I would. I think, it would be, it's a profitable business, we're debt free, and I think we could make a go out of it,
I think you can make a go out of a lot of stuff. I'm just asking, is it what you want to do? Is the toxic people situation your only thing that's stealing your joy, or is it the general space that you're in? You just don't want to do this every day. I think it's more of like it's not necessarily toxic. I think it's just, shifting the culture and getting it to where, we would maybe not be as stressed and dealing with the personnel issues. I think would probably be the better here's what I will tell you as a guy who's done this for 30 years. And again, started with no team members, then I had 10, and now I got 1,000. The folks on my team are my biggest joy, my biggest blessing, and my biggest heartache.
Yes, sir.
Some of the stupid butt stuff some of these people do to each other and to me is ridiculous. And then I just have to fire them. And it just breaks my heart because I love people and I pour into them. And it's always going to be a source of pride, a source of love. Some of my best friends work inside this building. And I truly, there's some of my best friends. And we work together, we argue, we fight through things together. And then some of the meanest, nastiest things in my life have been done to me by employees and former employees. And so it's just, and some of them claim I did that to them, which I didn't. So, but that there's all that kind of stuff that goes with the territory of managing people, leading people. It's gonna be a dance between the ugly and the beautiful, and the reason you know it's beautiful is you have ugly to look at it to compare it to. So that's going to come, but you can make it where I got 1,000 people, and truly I don't have anybody in the building I don't want to keep because I wouldn't have kept them past sundown.
Yes, sir.
I've given up on trying to make people behave. So we're gonna work together. We're gonna love each other. We're gonna treat each other with respect and dignity, or you're not gonna be a we. And so I think you can do this. I think you should do this. I think you need to start talking about how you're going to buy your mom out. How are you going to do that?
We have listened to some other, podcasts about, what your advice was about, giving them a percentage of the profits till the business is paid off. And I think that's probably the route that we would go.
Good. How long will that take?
Probably 5 to 7 years, maybe.
You're paying her too much.
Okay.
If you're giving her the lion's share of the profits, you're living on almost nothing in order to clear her out, and it's taking you 5 years, you're overpaying her. The business is worth, after salaries are paid, including your salary and her salary, because you're there running the businesses every day, after a basic salary for you to a reasonable salary for your management role is paid, whatever the net profits are after all of that, times 4, maybe times 5 is what this is worth. So you should be done in 4 or 5 years if you just live on your salary and her salary disappears.
Yes, sir. Okay.
You see how that formula works out?
Yes, sir, I do. Yeah,
so y'all work that through, and that's fair to her, by the way, and that's fair to you.
Yes, sir.
Because you want this cleared off as soon as possible. In the meantime, you own 100% of it, you and your wife, and you guys can begin to learn this people skill thing, and it's the art of healthy conflict lovingly saying, this is the goal, this is the excellence mark, we're all going to work towards excellence together. I'm not perfect, you're not perfect, we're all going towards that, and we're going to treat each other with dignity along the way. And if any of you can't do that, then you're not going to be a we, because we are doing that.
Yeah, that's good.
And so we have that talk around here every day. Every day.
Yep.
And sometimes somebody doesn't, they forget it, and so we have to sit down and explain to them again. This is what we're doing. And we don't talk about each other behind each other's back. We're not trying to cut each other's throat. We're not trying to climb on each other's body to the top or something like that. We're not going to use up people. We're just loving each other. We're team. We're working together. We're trying to score touchdowns so we can win the freaking Super Bowl. And if you're doing something other than trying to score touchdowns and win the freaking Super Bowl, you don't get to be a we. You don't get to stay. And we're not mean or nasty or sarcastic to people, but we will let you leave and work somewhere else. If you decide you're stupid enough to sit around and tell everybody, all your friends, how dumb you are, how dumb Ramsey is, or your husband or your wife's dumb enough to tell everybody how dumb Ramsey is, we'll fire you. Because that's not people don't do that to people that love each other. You don't do that. That's wrong. That's morally wrong. And so we will fire you. And you gotta be willing to do that kind of stuff, John. And it's like, you're going to be on this team. We're going to work together. We're going to love each other. You're going to treat each other right. You're not going to misbehave. You're not going to make ladies be uncomfortable in the building. You're not going to, we're not going to have that. We're not going to tolerate. We don't have. And it's not a matter of being woke or politically correct or something like that. It's a matter of loving people well and reaching to ring the bell of excellence together. And if we can't be unified on ringing the bell of excellence together, and if you're going to be an impediment to that rather than a cause of that, then you don't get to be a we. We will move you on somewhere else. And if your husband or your wife decides they hate where you work, the place that pays you money to feed your dadgum kids, then you don't get to work here anymore. And Ramsey's a cult. Well, if you want to call that a cult, that's fine, but cults don't usually tell people to leave, and we tell them to leave pretty regularly around here. So this is how it works, folks. This is a real freaking world. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Hey, it's Kelly, associate producer and phone screener for The Ramsey Show. If you would like to do your debt-free scream live on the show, make sure you visit theramseyshow.com and register. We would love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story.